Oh my god. Hello everybody. Hello my little pumpkins. I'm tending to house plants, so I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. I took a look at the plants about 2-3 weeks ago, somewhere around there. Repotted a couple of them. Ernie has a new pot now. He's been able to level up into something a bit bigger. But I'm just going to take a look at all the plants. I thought I'd show you how they're doing as well. 1 spiky plant, 2 spiky plants, 3 spiky plants. These are all doing perfectly fine. That could do with going into another pot, but for now I think they're still okay. I moved these two into these pots instead of the old plastic clear ones. They're a bit stronger, they're going to be lasting a bit longer, and they're going to be easier for me to work with. So I did that a couple of weeks ago, and so far, so good. That feed I gave all the plants in, I think it was sometime in the middle of May or early May, that's been helping them a lot. You can see these have all got a lot more green. There's some new shoots coming in at the bottom as well. I don't think there's anything I need to do here actually today for these guys. But I was running into some issues with plants. After I finished recording that video in May, a couple of the jade or money plants really started to go bad, and you'll see what I've had to do with one of the plants in a minute to save it. Luckily it's bounced back and we haven't lost any plants, but I really thought I was going to. All the leaves started going yellow and I thought basically it was too far too gone, so I plucked them all off, completely repotted the plants to change the soil, and luckily everything's been okay. But I do find filtered water and basically like drinking water is better for these plants. But just for today I'm just going to use the tap water. I'm only going to use it once. In the heat last week, I need to tell you about the heat wave that we've had. So last week it reached highs of 34, 35 degrees in the shade, and I ended up losing a few plants that I've been trying to grow outside. I'll show you the remains of those in a minute, and basically what I'm going to replant and try again with. But yeah, luckily the house plants were all indoors and I made sure to keep them well watered and they've all been fine. So I'll leave them sitting in some water in the pots just for a minute and then I'll empty them. After filming that last Botaniclaude vid I did, these completely looked like they was about to die. They started losing all their leaves. All the leaves started going completely yellow, or even not too dissimilar to this actually. I'll pluck those off. Completely limp and weak, and I really thought I was going to lose every single one of them. These were some that I took from there as well, so all these at one point was in this pot. I think it was a mix of root rot, so essentially the soil gets too compacted, it's not well oxygenated, and the roots basically starve of oxygen and they all get a bit too squished. I think it was a blend of that, probably lack of feed and some other issues I probably ran into with it. Probably a bunch of other stuff as well. Might have been lack of light, too much water. It was odd, it was directly after I watered it with the hose in that video, and it completely tanked, like went completely wrong, literally within a couple of days of filming that video. So I was a bit worried. I thought I was going to lose them, but I just kind of said to myself, if it happens, it happens, it's all good. But I plucked everything off, everything that looked like it was struggling or dying, took it all apart, took all of these out of soil and basically removed all the soil from the roots that were there, dunked them in a lot of fresh drinking water so they could soak up as much water as possible, and then I put a brand new soil mix in here and I kind of spread them out, so I put them between 2 pots. This is Ernie's old pot, and now they've bounced back, plenty of new leaves, plenty of new shoots, and they're doing absolutely fine. Yeah, I can assure you I thought these were long gone. I thought there's no way these are going to bounce back, and they have. Stems are all feeling nice and strong. They're not wobbly, like they'd all gone kind of soft. It was really weird, and everything seems okay now. So I'm going to go and get some more soil, going to go and get some feed, and then I'm going to get some water to fill these up with. A large, I don't know if that's possible to see, about a large teaspoon. I'm just going to sprinkle some of these in there. I haven't actually been to a garden centre since I recorded the other houseplant video. I've been focused on cards and work. When these ones started to struggle a couple of weeks back, I kind of didn't want to go looking for more plants. I wanted to try and save these and focus on these rather than just getting new ones. I wanted to make sure these were all right first before I worried about any other plants. But I would like to get, like I've mentioned a couple of times, I would like to get some cactuses. Or cacti, I should say. There's one that has a root system, but it's not going to take off. So you can go over there. I'm glad I didn't put any pebbles in this as well. I think I mentioned a couple of times I wanted to put some stones in here and kind of create more of a pretty top for the pot. I'm glad I didn't, because when I was struggling with this possible root rot, I would have had to pull all the soil out anyway. So I'm glad I've done that first, and then I can always come in here and put some stones and stuff in a few weeks. I want to make sure these are definitely okay first. Just going to put this over here in case it drips out the bottom. I'd like to see them a little bit more green looking and just a bit more interesting than they currently are. I don't know if they will. They may do, they may not. That's the joy of taking care of plants. You never quite know what's going to happen. And then we've got these ones, which are exactly the same plants, like literally from the same mother plant that these cuttings have been taken from. These are the newest ones. So these are the ones that I took, cuttings I took, would it have been last September or October when I did my first Botaniclaude vid, I'm pretty sure, somewhere around then. And then these guys were the ones that I took in the last video. As you can see, they're doing perfectly fine. Nice and green, nice and strong, nice and healthy. I think what I will do is just pinch some of these out today. It will encourage some new growth, and I'll do the same for these as well, but these are looking perfectly fine from what I can tell. What I'd quite like to do is take some of this soil out and replace it with some of this other potting mix, because this is a little bit damp. Let's put a little bit of plant feed first. I've already given it some, so it doesn't need too much. And then fresh potting mix. This feels a bit lighter. I feel like it'll be a bit better for the plant, to be honest with you. It's perfectly okay potting mix. It's just a bit dense. A bit like me. So what I would want is to just kind of balance it out with some lighter stuff. The best bit is vermiculite and coconut fibre, which I have been meaning to get, but it's quite hard to find sometimes. It sells out a lot on Amazon. Now what I'm thinking of doing is plucking these quite a bit and kind of allowing for some more lower growth, because these are becoming, as you can see, a bit top heavy. So we've got a decision to make in a minute, lads. I want to remove some of this new top growth because it's proven to me it can grow new leaves, but the problem is it's going to grow heavier on the top, and I don't know if I want that. So what I'm thinking of doing is taking off some of the heaviest leaves and taking off some of this top growth. But the question is, where and how? Where and how? I'm going to take this down to there. 2 very big leaves here. Off they go. It's going to look a little bit bare for now, but in the next few weeks it will develop some new growth. Oh, there's a little bit of loss there. That's the thing with plants, is you get to the point where when you take trimmings, you'll get to the point where you can't be asked to turn these into plants because you've already got too many plants. You never really run out of house plants. You just keep making them. And these, I would love to put these in a pot, but I don't know if I have one. As always, does Claudie have a pot? No. I do have some plant pots of some herbs that I was growing that didn't work because the heat wave got to them. But the basil plant's still looking strong. It's got a little bit, I think, of black fly. I don't know what that is on it, but I'm thinking of plucking some basil leaves off in the hopes of encouraging some new growth today. So I'm going to sort that out in a second. This is the coriander, parsley and tatsoi plants that I lost in the heat wave. I did my best to keep them alive, but it was too warm, too quick, and these plants were already outgrowing the pots they were in because I couldn't get them into the ground quick enough. So it's just one of these things, you win some, you lose some. But what I'm going to do in a minute is grow some fresh parsley and fresh coriander, and this pot I could use for these guys. That's what I think I'll do, and I'll put some new ones in there. The tatsoi will have to be grown another time. Good Lord, look at the roots on that. Those are stones. They're stuck in there. And then I can take these out and start putting these in here. Right. This soil is super duper compacted. Healthy roots though. Very healthy roots. There's 1, 4 and 5. Now this actually seems like not enough space for all these. I think only 3 are going to be able to fit in there. Whoopsies, come back. There we go, I think 3 in there, and we'll do something with these 2 in a minute somewhere else. I've been using tap water on these and they've been absolutely fine, so I don't know what it is with those other ones. You can plant these quite deep as well. I've never really had issue with burying the roots and stuff quite deeply into the pots. What I've learned is plants are usually a hell of a lot stronger than you think they are. And the ones you think you need to worry about, you don't. And when you think plants are going to be perfectly fine and they can take care of themselves, they usually don't. That's what I've learned. These are still very young plants. These cuttings are only 2 months, maybe 3 months at this point. So it's not about making them look like the perfect houseplant. It's just giving them space to grow, become stronger, and then start looking better over the next few months and years. That's always the plan. What I want to do with this is basically pinch out any of the already eaten leaves that have been eaten by insects, slugs, caterpillars, anything like that. But it smells so good. It means the leaves are dying. They're not going to be particularly of much flavour anyway. And then the plant can put more energy into these new ones. It's going to look like I'm hacking at it for now, but it will be okay. And eventually I plan to get this into like a little wooden trough or herb box, and I can have this near the kitchen and then just come out and use some herbs as and when I want or need to. Right, what else do I need to do? I was going to replant some coriander and some parsley. I think I'll put those in there. And then orchids, and I need to show you Ernie. Ernie's been repotted, so I need to show you that. Right, I'll just see what these little ones do. I've got no idea if they will shoot, but we can try. They might be too small, to be honest, but that will be our little experiment for the next couple of months. Just wanted to say thank you very much for the very positive reception on that video where I was talking about content the other day. I'm glad I was able to find a way to sit and talk about it, because I had tried to record that video before and I just didn't like the way it came together. Plus there was a bunch of like mechanical machinery noise in the background. There was a helicopter that came over as I was recording. I don't know what happens. Like today is quite quiet, you know, just the birds are singing. That's how it usually is. And then I seem to have this bad luck where whenever I put my camera on, there's just a bunch of noise that comes out of nowhere. Here's Ernie. There he is. He's been repotted. Soil looks dry, don't worry, I just need to water him. He was repotted with fresh soil, and I also put some plant feed in there as well. This was like 3 weeks ago. So Ernie has a new home. I just need to get an actual ceramic pot because I don't have one big enough at the moment. So when I get a chance, I will put Ernie in a nice pot, and he'll be back in the background of videos at some point soon. Again, I have also been giving Ernie like filtered water, but for today I'm not too worried. I'm just going to go straight in with some hose water. Plonk you in. That was a really stupid thing to do, wasn't it? That's gone all over my legs. I didn't think the pot sunk so far in, but it did. Lovely. Come on, Ernie, you little fucker. Right, God, I've made a mess. Okay, what else do I need to do? Basil leaves. You know what, there's still plenty more on the plant. You can just go down here for a minute. I want to grow some coriander again and some parsley. I've made such a mess. Oh, I've just sneezed about 5 times. Add a little bit of this potting mix back into here because, you know, don't need to waste it. Ooh. I knocked my fluffermuff. Sorry. That clump I'll use for something else because I don't want that to be wasted. I'll just use that to grow something else in a minute. I'm trying to think, while I'm out here, what else do I need to do? Coriander seeds are so fascinating to me. They're like, I don't know, they look like tiny little pumpkins. Hang on, let me see if I can show you. Excuse my dirty hands, but look. Tiny little pumpkins. I don't know if I'm too close. There we go. Coriander seeds it is. I'll sprinkle these in for the second time. Sorry I killed all your brothers and sisters. These do take a little while to germinate. I think it took about 2 or 3 weeks before. We had them on the kitchen window for a while. So they will just sit in there. And then the parsley. Still got some more for next season. Flat leaf, yes. I'm not a big fan of curly leaf parsley. It's okay, but it does become a little bit woody. It's fine to cook with it if you're like actually cooking the meal, you know, you're having like cooked parsley in a dish, but it can be a bit crunchy. I prefer flat leaf, it's much nicer to eat. Flat leaf parsley. These are tiny, tiny seeds, there's no point in me showing you these. The best thing, obviously, is the little seed trays to plant, especially herbs and stuff. But the truth is, when I did go to a shop that sold them, they didn't have any. Couple of months ago, and I quite like the pots like this because I can reuse them for other things like houseplants, so it just makes it easier for me, to be honest. Those I will water in a minute when I get back inside, and these are just going to sit on the kitchen window to germinate, and I'll let you know how they go. Hopefully they do just as well as the ones before and I don't end up killing them like I did with the tatsoi. I was excited for some tatsoi and then it's just all gone to shit. Orchids. The orchids need seeing to. Esme and the other one that I can't remember what name I gave it. First things first. The oldest orchid, it's not looking particularly impressive, is it? But it is actually doing quite well. It's got plenty of new roots excuse my dirty hands, but down here at the bottom, plenty of new roots. There are fresh roots on the inside. I'm not going to interfere too much. I'm going to cut off with my scissors. Where are my scissors? My scissors. Any old, come on, dead roots that are no good to the plant anymore. So it can, I could do with buying some more of that, the bark and stuff. Maybe I'll get some on Amazon a bit later, because I could do with repotting this at some point. And what I'm also going to do is cut this leaf off, because it's beginning to die back anyway. Just got to be very careful how I do this. There we go. So that was going to go anyway. These are clean scissors that have been through a dishwasher, so they're all sterilised. Don't do that without sterilising your scissors first. There's a lot of dead roots on this, which I would usually be worried about, but at the same time, there is a bunch of healthy ones, as you can see, sort of within there. I will keep an eye on it. If we lose it, we lose it. I don't worry too much about losing plants. Life's too short to worry about that. This I've also watered yesterday, so no need to water. Esme looked magnificent as of about 2 months ago, but, you know, as always with orchids, their flowering season dies back. I've trimmed off most of the stems that had already gone before this one. And this, although there's buds, this is not going to flower. I don't think it has the energy to, but it's got plenty of healthy roots down here. As you can see, they're bright green. So very healthy plant, just doesn't want to flower anymore. Doesn't want to put energy into that right now. So I'm going to help it out by cutting this off carefully. I'll actually do it above there. There we go. Could have been some beautiful flowers. We can actually try and open it up. Yeah, there would have been some flowers in there, but it didn't really have the energy to do so. So that's okay. And I will trim off any of these roots that it no longer needs. It has this like a net that goes over the top, so I can't really get to too many of the main roots, but it's good. It keeps everything very moist and damp in there, which is like the perfect environment for orchids. Come on. There we go. Where the hell did that go? Whoop, whoop, steady. Take that out. I could actually use that for mere jade plants, actually. Right, again, that was watered yesterday, so I'm going to go and put that back in the pot. What else do I need to do today? Let me go and have a wander around and see if there's anything I spot and notice. I do have something else I need to show you. So, in the last video, I showed you a plant that looks like Ernie, but wasn't Ernie. My dad has like a jade plant, and he gave it a prune about a month ago, and he left the stems in a bucket of water. Look what's happened to the stems, lads. They have just been left out during the heat wave, in the heat and the rain and every other weather type in between. Hopefully you can see they have started to grow roots just sitting in the water. And I've got a bunch of these that I can now plant into soil, and these could grow into more plants. So I thought I'd give it a go. The perfect thing would be to have just left them like that, sat in the water, but they've moved around a lot or fell over. I'm going to pick whatever's best. That one's not particularly good, actually. Ugh. I'm going to do what I can to rinse these off, and then I'll plant them and see what I can do, see what I can salvage. The only issue is I don't think I have a pot. I really need to buy some fucking pots, don't I? I really do. I just need to buy like 100 of them so that I have... The only problem is if I buy 100 pots, I will want to have 100 houseplants, and I'm already too busy for that. So there's a dilemma either way. There we go, that's fine. As you can imagine, it's very sort of slimy because they've just been sat in like rainwater. But they're alive. I wasn't expecting them to be like this. In a perfect world, this would be lovely as a like a more shallow pot, but I don't have that, so never mind. I think I've actually got some cheaper potting mix that I could use except for the good stuff, because I don't even know if these are going to work. I knew I had some somewhere, because the John Innes, or John Innings, I actually never know how you pronounce it. It's lovely, but it is a bit more expensive because it is so good. So I would rather do a blend. What to do with you? I'm not even sure where to plant them from, to be honest. I mean, this is fairly obvious. All I'm going to do is snip here where there's some older stem that hasn't rooted anything. I'm going to take that off. I've got no idea if this is going to work, but I'm all about trying on here. Just try stuff, fuck around and find out. never really done this before. I've never taken cuttings of jade plants where there is already some roots, like left them in water like that. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. I think that the trick is with plants is to not care too much. It's to put them in the soil and then forget about them for like 3 months and then go, oh, it worked. I think that's the healthiest way mentally. I think if you try to care too much about how it turns out, you end up sort of going a little bit insane. That's what it looks like. Not particularly interesting, but if that continues to root and grow, well, then we've got a whole bunch of plants that worked when I wasn't expecting them to. So there we go. Another successful planting, repotting, reorganising, all that jazz. As and when I do get some new plants, of course, I will be showing them to you. Hopefully, I've been saying this for ages, but hopefully I can get some cacti, as I'd really love to. Thank you, as always, for watching. I'm going to go and water my tomato plants and then get all the other house plants back indoors, and I'll see you next time. Toodles!